That's cool, I guess. Yo, what's up, guys? Quick thing. It's been a pretty long month. Things not really, I guess, happening well. But we're still trying to do the best we can. Uh, this week's reveals aren't really that big, which is good. We got to save some money. Uh, Lots of things happening though. Lots of big things happening. Can't wait for that. Starting tomorrow, the Transformers compendiums go on pre-order. I don't know how long they'll be on pre-order. But after the G.I. Joes, I gotta get it. I believe it's 4 issues. I'm hoping. So it should be about the same as the Joes, about $350, including the shipping and handling. Hopefully. Lots of classifieds coming out. I believe the 15th is pre-order for 4 more classifieds. Another wave of He-Man, the Masterverse series has been announced with some pretty great characters. A new She-Ra, a new Hordak, which we haven't seen the Hordak yet, so I'm pretty worried about that. But Cobra Khan, finally, and Ninjar. All I need is Mantenna, Dragstar, Mosquitor, and maybe Extender. And then I think that's it. Or hopefully they create a new Eternia Mossman. I love Mossman. He's great. The Revelations version wasn't the greatest. Like I said, a lot of things are coming out slowly, which is great. Some great new Funkos coming out next month. It's literally an insane time to be a collector. Definitely have to do some mailboxes. Got some stuff in the mail, gotta order some stuff. Trying to start getting some of the retro stuff that I want. With most of everything else kind of getting to the end of those collections. Like I said, it's pretty insane, but at the same time pretty great. hopefully start doing unboxing soon. Maybe this summer. Then end the year with a room tour. Hopefully. See how that goes. But like I said, this week, not much in the toy hunting. There's stuff I would love to get. Trying to take it slowly. But this week, I honestly only got 2 Legos. The bamboo tree. The official Lego bamboo tree. Finally picked it up. I was going to get the knockoff original bamboo tree from China. But the version they had, it looks great. It just the stems don't really look like bamboo. But there's a lot of it, and it looks full. And there was the bottom didn't look like this. This looks pretty cool with all the little pebbles around it. It says 11 inches tall. So about the size of a ruler. 29 centimeters. 4.5 inches wide. 12 centimeters. Still have to do my bonsai. But now I have the bamboo. So I guess it's coming together. I kind of want to get a few more. One for my mom's room. I kind of want to get a couple downstairs. But the pieces are, I mean, they're Legos. So if they do come out, the dogs might eat them. So it's kind of hard. But besides that, I also got I wouldn't, okay, it's not a Lego, it's compatible with Legos though. It's one of the Zuri Max Legos. This one is a Zuri Max Retro. It's 168 pieces. This one is 168 pieces. These balls cost about $8. Zuri makes a lot of cheap knockoff stuffs like the Lego brands. They're a pretty good company. They make knockoff Nerf guns, water guns. A lot of the mystery stuff are made by Zuru. That's the brand, Zuru. I'm hoping this isn't too small. So what's in this ball There's a TV, a PC, a stereo, a Polaroid camera, a telephone, and an old arcade. This is the TV. I definitely want to get the telephone. They also have a bunch of flowers. Like I said, Zuru makes a lot of these insane things. They just came out with another ball for Lego with food, pizza, sushi. Crazy. It's stuff you wouldn't find in Legos yet, unless they decide to make the Legos. But I definitely love this retro stuff because it's stuff you don't really see these days. A lot of you will be going, no, there's TV. No, there is flat screens. This is the old black and white big TVs with the rabbit ears. That is a landline phone. And if you look closely, if you don't know what that isn't push button. That is the spin dial. And if you don't know what that is, that's how young you are. So the original phones I've never used. I've seen it on some of the old shows where it was on the wall. You pick up the hearing, what looks like a stethoscope, put it to your ears, turn a crank, and it sends you to an operator, and then you tell the operator who you want. And they try and connect you. Which is great because back then there was not a lot of people living in the world. So you could get away with having 1 to 50 operators trying to link you to different cities, to different states. I don't know what came after that, but I do know those phones are what I grew up with, which was a normal phone. You know, the speaker and listening device with the wire going to the phone. And it was pretty much like your phones today, where a number, I think there were 10 circles on the phone, and if you want the number, you'd have to put your finger in a certain hole, bring it down to a certain point, take your finger out, it would reset, and that would be one number, and you'd have to dial all of the 7 numbers. It was definitely an experience, to say the very least. To see how far we have come in technology wise is insane. Uh, One of the first TVs I've ever seen was my grandpa's, which was literally, honestly, it was bigger than my desk, almost as wide and taller. It literally would take up to 4 people to move the damn thing. It was a flat screen, but the first screen was a little curve, which was more of a, I wouldn't say a mirror, but I think the image was like very small when it came out, and the way the TV screen was, you could it enlarged the image from the screen came out to the back into a small little area. It was like a huge cone, and then that connected to other parts of the TV. I used to like taking apart old TVs just to see how it worked. A lot of it seemed very much like a actual light bulb. Of course, filming stuff was even way more difficult than that, I think. From the first cameras to what I remember, luckily we did have Polaroids when I was younger. But man, technology has come a long way. I mean, stuff that we look at today, like our phones, for example. Back when I was small, they had no handheld phones. Handhelds came out after pagers, and that came out late 80s, early 90s. I think the early 90s was handheld phones, but they were literally bricks. Not as heavy, but as big. Almost as heavy, about half the weight of a brick. Most of it started because people wanted phones in their cars, limousines. All the rich people had them. And if we never got that technology I don't think we'd be here today. No podcasts, no YouTube. Everything has a starting point. Including toys. Balls and jacks. A lot of the old school yo-yos, the old school toys from other countries. It's insane how everything has improved in such a 40, 50 years. Watching now that everybody can do videos, everybody can social media. Back then, social media was literally the gossip of the neighborhood. You wanted to call your friend, you stick your head out the window, the door, and scream. You know, the only thing that really hasn't changed is books. We had movie theaters. We never had VHS until that came out, though. I remember records. I remember when Beta first came out, which was before VHS tapes. It was a smaller tape that could hold smaller amount of stuff. But the machine that played it was huge. I really don't understand the psychology of things before, because we had, I remember records, vinyls, but the things that used to play it literally was almost as, not as high, but as wide as a wall. But that probably came up to my chest now. Huge speakers. After we got Beta, we got cassettes for music. Cassettes were about yay big, but the stereos that played it was huge. You would seriously see people walking around with stereos on their shoulders, dancing. Kind of makes you wonder what the next 50 years will look like. It does seem like a lot of things are slowing down, but I mean, back then, a lot of things were happening slowly as well. It's insane how far we've come. Whether it's technology, whether it's toys. I remember, not sure how old a lot of you are, but going to the library and trying to look up a book. Back then, the libraries had no computers. If you had a computer, you were considered rich. It was mostly used for work. The games you had was Hangman, some weird educational games. And that's all before Atari came out. What we had was card catalogs. So they basically had this drawers, like maybe 50 drawers, about 40, 50 drawers. Each one was labeled with a alphabet. So if you'd go to the drawer with the alphabet of the book that you want to read. So, like if there was a Star Wars book, there was none back then, but if there was, you'd go to the card catalog, look through the entire catalog to find where ST would be. Open it up, and they would have index cards with all the information of the books, from the names, the author, the date it was written, the date it was published, and specifically where in the library you would find these books. Then you'd have to get another index card with a pencil, write down where you'd find it, and actually go find it in the library. Man, life has definitely changed. There There was no headphones until Walkman came out. And the crazy part is, the first, well, I mean, if you think about it, the first televisions was made in Japan. It was all Japanese. The first stereos was all Japanese. The first Walkman was all Japanese. So we definitely bought a lot of things from other countries. Now America has our own music industry, our own television, which is great. And of course, our own companies making TVs, making stereos, gaming consoles. Nintendo and PlayStation are both Japanese. Microsoft is the only American gaming company. I don't. We have a lot of Chinese and Malaysian companies doing emulators, but nobody's making consoles except for these three companies. Lots of great studios from all over the world, but no company making consoles. Lego, again, another company, thankfully American made. Hasbro. You'd be surprised to see how many toy companies are in the world and where they're located in the world. How many toy companies are exclusively American? I don't think Lego is an American company. I don't know. Hasbro is, Mattel is, McFarlane is. I think there is 3 toy companies, not 3, 12 toy companies that are American. The Iron Sight Company, they made some great stuff for military classified looking stuff. Our size. They are in Brazil. Takara Tomy are in Japan. Japan has, I think, 7 or 8 toy companies. I don't know where Funko is. I think they are a American company, I hope. But the big company that's coming to challenge them is, believe, is Japanese. It is insane to see how everything has come this far. Some days it's a dream, some days it's a nightmare. Anyway, guys, like I said, that's all I have for you this week as far as reveals go. If you can find Zuru, they make some great Lego stuff. They're compatible with Lego. There's these retro balls. They have, well, I've seen a ton of different balls. Currently, there is the retros, the botanical garden, and the food one. They also make, like I said, Nerf guns, water guns. Uh, Most of their stuff, I believe, is called X-Shot. And they're still a smaller company, so a lot of the things are pretty cheap. Uh, there are a lot of small companies making stuff that I never heard of. I wish we still had a lot of the older companies. Kenner was always great, but they got bought up by Hasbro. So we have Mattel and Hasbro, Playmates. I'm not sure who does Moose. Moose has been doing a lot of girly stuff, especially Disney. I honestly wish there were more companies out there. Definitely would be interesting to look all of them up. Of course, I'm getting into Loyal Subjects. They have been truly impressive. Hopefully their mass toys come out pretty soon. From what I've seen, they're pretty impressive. They're an updated version of the older toys. Their gem dolls are awesome. Rainbow Bright and Strawberry Shortcake are literally remakes of the original toys, but they also have smaller versions of them too. There's definitely a lot of companies you need to check out and hopefully get interested in these companies to see what else they bring out. Like I said, I do these videos, toy hunts, to try and push what Hawaii has as far as toys go, as far as being a collector goes. But at the same time, I want to also push the toys and the toy companies, especially the smaller companies that do really well. It's great to see more and more companies make toys. I'm hoping more and more toy stores open up, because that's definitely something I miss. I'm glad comic stores are still around, but I would love to have KB Toys, Toys R Us, a lot of different toy stores. Not to mention maybe a few collector stores. We did have Toys and Joys, which was mostly an import store with some normal toys, which was great. When I was a kid in Ala Moana, I believe there was maybe 2 or 3 toy stores. In Pearl Ridge, there was, I believe, 3 toy stores. I know we had a KB's on Sears side, right as you come up the escalator. That was amazing. It was pretty big. We also had a toy store that was pretty big on the other side, where the stairs going upstairs is, right next to where Razors is now, called Playwell, which was a Japanese owned toy store, but it was just American toys. But again, it was great to have. You know, a lot of people talk about the golden days of like factories, when we had factories making TVs, when we had factories making washing machines and refrigerators and cars. But during those golden ages, we also had several toy stores, way, at least double the amount of comic book stores. Right now, I think we only have Barnes and Nobles for a bookstore. I remember Walden Books. I remember Borders. I remember Tower Records for record stores. And I seen a picture that said in the 1980s, the heart of a mall was the record store. And I can admit that that's true. Without the music, the mall has no heart, no soul. There was at least 2 video stores in the malls. That's how you know the malls are dying. They literally took out the heart. They took out the brains with the bookstores. They took out the kids with the toy stores. They took out all the visuals with the movie stores, Suncoast, Sam's Goodies. Every mall had a theater. The mall was a place to be when we were kids. These days, the malls just aren't living up to its hype. Or living up to what it used to be. It is one of the saddest things ever, watching malls die slowly because rent is high. I mean, we still have Tilt in Pearl Ridge, but it's not the same as before. I mean, the arcades now is either for little kids or for senior citizens. I remember having Fun Factory on one side and Tilt on the other. The greatest thing about that was being able to walk in and challenge somebody. Now everything is online. It all this online and digital stuff is literally killing a lot of everything, as well as the greed. Hope you guys remember a lot of this stuff. Anyway, like I said, not bad. Definitely one that I wanted. The other one was like a triangle. Each of these were triangle shaped, so that's what threw me off. And I do like the bottom better on this. We'll see what we have next time. Like I said, lots of stuff coming in. Lots of stuff to do. Hopefully got time to do stuff. Anyway, guys, thanks for staying with us. Thanks for taking that memory road trip. Nostalgia. Take care. Be safe. Have a good night. Good day. Aloha.